4 years ago, we launched a fundraising capital campaign with a goal of $8.1 million to expand and renovate our library. We formed a capital campaign committee and began our work. Our goal at the time was to reach out to as many current and former residents as well as businesses seeking their support. We knew we needed at least one leadership gift of $1 million or more if we were to be successful. We were thrilled in April of 2011 to learn that an anonymous donor pledged $2 million to our cause. We were off and running with this incredibly generous gift. We reached out to various groups in different ways, and we are grateful to all who have joined in the critical need of all the Leicester residents to renovate and double the size of the existing structure. We are not alone in this. Between 1987 and 2012, the Mass Board of Library Commissioners have funded 194 library building projects, including 51 new buildings, 126 renovation and expansion projects, and 17 single-purpose projects. The following video was part of our initial launch and explains the project very well. Please take a few minutes to catch up on the project by watching the video once more. In the early 1890s, the town fathers decided that we really needed a building dedicated to the library. And so in about 1893, Laurie Watson started a concerted effort to bring this to fruition. And how he did that was he donated the land that the library now stands on, and he convinced other important members of the community to donate monies for the building. He enlisted the famous architect Stephen Earle to draw plans for the library, and in 1895 this building was dedicated. Stephen Earle had the foresight when he was drawing the plans for the library to realize that this particular building would not suit for years and years and years. I mean, it has for over 100 years, but he knew very well that it would have to have an addition put on it at some time, and therefore he made the back wall of the library out of brick, not out of the red granite, and it is a non-load bearing wall so that it can be taken down rather easily and an addition put up. Obviously, it was built for a much smaller community. It was built for a community of around 1,000 people, and today we have over 10,000 people, and so it's the feeling of the trustees, and has been for quite a while, that we really need to put an addition on the library as well as to comply with the American Disabilities Act. We were fortunate several years ago that they allowed us to be grandfathered by having a ramp into the children's room. But what that means is that anybody who is disabled, they can come to the library, but they can't browse to their heart's content as though they should be able to in any other library, because the main floor is not handicapped accessible. And so that's one of our goals as well, to make this building completely accessible for all patrons.
One of the things we hear often in the library is, why are libraries still relevant? In the age of electronic communication, internet, ebooks, why do we still need libraries? In the last 10 years, Leicester Public Library circulation has increased 40%. The number of people in town with library cards has increased 35%. Our internet sessions have increased over 200%. So statistically, libraries are still relevant. Libraries evolve with the times. We check out new and current things. We have e-readers. The library checks out e-books for your e-readers. If you have a Kindle or a Nook or another e-reader or electronic device, we can check you out materials for that device. The Leicester Public Library offers programs and materials for patrons of all ages. We have books and materials for toddlers. We have preschool story time for preschoolers. We have books and materials for school-age children, both for recreational reading and for reports. We have programs and materials for middle school, for high school, for adults, for parents, and for seniors. We are a social meeting space in the afternoon after school. We have computers both for internet use and for word processing. We offer research help for school reports and the materials to back up that research. That's one thing that you don't get from internet searches is necessarily reliable, fact-checked information. We have professionally trained staff and screen materials that you know you can use with confidence in your report. What we don't have is a dedicated young adult space in this library right now. People think of libraries as a nice, quiet place where they can go do work, but some of the things that go on in the library that are legitimate use, like this social and collaborative learning space, do require a certain level of noise. So we would love to have a dedicated young adult space where they can use the library in the way that best benefits them without disturbing other patrons. We're confident that an expansion is the right thing to do for the town of Leicester. Other towns in our neighborhood have pursued these grants successfully. They've built new buildings that are in line with current standards, and their circulation and usage has increased greatly.
In 2004, my mother passed away, and I thought a fitting memorial to her was any of the donations that were made were put into a renovation fund, and that's how the renovation started. And since then, people have donated money to it and have also left memorials to various people who have passed away. We applied for a grant from the state for design, architectural design materials. And they granted us $20,000, and the town matched that $20,000. And so we had $40,000 to hire an architect and to go ahead with the basic plans for the renovation and addition of the library. This addition will basically double the size of the library because we will utilize a lot of this building that is currently we are currently unable to use. That takes in the attic, part of the cellar, and so forth. All of that will be utilized in this new plan. The space that we're in now, several people have asked me what's going to happen to this museum room. And we are going to utilize it as the library, but all of the exhibits that are in this room will be on display so that we won't lose any of the museum artifacts. They'll be on wall displays. It may turn out that it's a rotating display, but we're certainly not going to get rid of any of the museum pieces. The total project is a little over $8 million. We have applied to the state for a grant of a little over $4 million. We also have had a very generous donor, anonymous donor, pledge $2 million. We need your help to raise the last $1.3 million because we really do not want to go back to the town and add this to the tax levy. We want to have this addition be tax-free to the people of the town, the same as the original building was. It was a gift from the founding fathers and we hope to continue that legacy, and therefore we need your support.
The three main reasons we're doing this project are to increase the amount of space at the library, to make the entire building handicapped accessible, and to upgrade our technology and infrastructure. One of the things I'm frequently asked is why we just don't add an elevator to the back of the building. Adding an elevator to the back of the building is very expensive and only solves some of the problems. It will get a wheelchair up to the second floor, but it will not provide accessibility through the building. We have very limited space, and we would lose half of the bookshelf space we have to make the aisles wide enough for a wheelchair to get through. A second question I often hear is, why are we doing this now? This has been in the process since 2004. We finally worked our way up the state construction grant list. If we don't take this money now, we would have to start the process all over again. It's taken us 11 years to get to the point where we are now. We really don't want to wait 11 more years. And there's also no guarantee that this funding will be available in another round. So if we want matching state construction grant money, we have to take this now. Not so much here in the library, but out in the community, another question I'm often asked is, who goes to libraries anymore? Our circulation statistics and our visits here at the library increase slightly every year. The library provides programs to children and adults. We have computer and Wi-Fi and internet access, research access, local history. The library is more than books. We need more space to provide the community services that we do, and we need a handicapped accessible building to be able to provide them to everyone.
I want to thank everyone who has been involved with our efforts to date. Our current fundraising efforts, including the MBLC grant, now totals $7.1 million. Our dreams of 4 years ago are coming to fruition. We are in the home stretch, as they say. If you have not made a pledge or a contribution to the Library Renovation Fund, you may do so on our website, stopping in at the library, or by calling me at 508-892-3056. Please consider joining us in our effort to continue the legacy for all the town's residents.